Hey, heathens! So if you guys don't remember from last week, we were talking to this guy.
Let's take a look at why I'm going to prove to you that atheism kills. 0. Yeah, so when you have God totally, perfectly governing society, and then you're at 0 killings, this spot right here, this is called a heaven. Now right here, this line right here, this line, this is the Christian power line. Now, right here, you got this line. This is your atheist power line.
And now this week we're going to figure out how most developed governments have killed more than 1 billion people, as well as find out how the Antichrist factors into this. So please stay tuned. Don't forget to smash that like button.
Clear. Yeah, like right here.
Is that God because he killed the entire world with a goddamn flood?
I would like some source material for this graph.
You want sources?
Yeah.
He's just got a Bible, honey.
No, none of this shit is in the Bible, so I would like some source material for this graph. Stalin is not in the Bible.
No.
We'll say boom. This is like 1 billion.
Oh shit! Now we got bills.
We'll say like right now. This is really powerful. This is like most developed governments in the world right now. Developed governments.
I have a question. So extend the atheist line out. Extend the government line out. Extend the God power line out. What happens when they meet?
The universe ceases to exist. Well, I mean, God would be an atheist because he doesn't believe in a higher power.
Yeah.
And then he is, of course, all powerful, and he would kill fucking everybody. But it's okay because, you know, he's God. All right, as far as most developed governments, like killing 1 billion people, like, I don't think that most developed governments individually have killed 1 billion people. I mean, there's been wars throughout history. If you want to, tally up the body count from every single war and apply it to each country, I'm sure you might be able to get to 1 billion.
Michelle says all in caps because it's important and she's pissed. What is his fucking x-axis scale?
It's killings in the millions, and then it got into the billions because obviously he wants a bigger number.
Through abortion. Through allowing abortion.
Did you say abortion?
Oh, okay. So abortion is how he gets the billion.
Dude, there are not 1 billion abortions. Like, there's not 1 billion abortions in this country.
Well, he said developed governments. That would insinuate that any developed government out there has given 1 billion abortions. If you were to consider,
maybe China. Well, they're only allowed to have 1 kid until recently. So maybe, you don't know. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of fucking people over there.
Yeah. Well, okay, look, but still, for one thing, most abortions occur in the first trimester. So, like, nothing that happens to whatever is inside the woman could be considered killing a child.
Victoria, miscarriages are fine because that's God's will.
Oh, yeah. God does it, and it's fine.
God's abortions.
He's literally going to say that here in a second. But
is he really?
Yes.
I haven't seen this yet.
The late-term abortions are generally emergency situations, and it's where it's either the mother's life or the baby's life. Generally, the mother's life is chosen. And even so, like, abortions for certain situations are much needed. But if you were to outlaw abortions, then it would end up killing a lot more women than it would, potentially save babies.
Yeah, and oftentimes the baby is going to die too.
Abortions killed probably 1 billion people. And it's
I like how specific it is. Probably 1 billion people. Billion? Sounds like 1 billion? Yeah, probably 1 billion.
That sounds about right. Fuck source.
Theistic. Yeah. And then you got your spot right here, just before hell. This is the Antichrist. Okay?
Oh.
Wait, so the Antichrist has killed more than 1 billion people, or will kill more than 1 billion people. Like, I guess maybe is that dot like 7 billion or something like that? Because that's currently what we're at.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't know, but he's not on the atheist power line.
No, he's not. Apparently,
well, because it's the Antichrist, so he would believe in the Christ. I guess
this person's gonna come into power. They're just gonna go mad at killing people, And I'm willing to bet they're going to be very atheistic in nature. So here you can see...
Well, obviously they're not.
Who's they? Who's
the Antichrist.
Oh, isn't that like one person?
Well, yeah.
Oh.
They're going to go mad, though, and kill a bunch of people. Okay, and he's like, I bet they're going to be atheists. Why isn't he on the atheist line then? Shouldn't he be like up there above developed governments then?
Yes, he should be where God meets atheist government and power and whatever.
Clearly what America and what the whole world needs in their governments is one solution to stop the killing, and that's...
Oh, like a final solution, you mean? You little Hitler.
Yeah.
This separation of atheism and state.
There is no atheism in state.
I can't get over the look back.
He's like, "I still got you? Do I still got you? You still watching?
You still watching? You buying this shit? Oh, okay, well I'll keep running my mouth. You know, if you're gonna keep believing it, I'm gonna keep talking. But there's no need for a separation of atheism and state. I would agree that if anybody comes into a political position and they were like, well, I'm an atheist and I want to stomp out religion, I think that that's just as wrong as a religious person getting into power and being like, you know what? I want to stomp out atheism or Islam or, restrict the personal freedoms to where you can only be a Christian. Like, I would be very against both of those situations.
Well, so the only reason that I think that it would be wrong for someone to come into a position of power and say that they want to stomp out religion, the only reason that I think that is wrong is because of the Constitution and the First Amendment with the freedom of religion. If we didn't have that, I would think it was just fine because I think religion is dangerous as fuck and I'm totally an anti-theist. So I'm completely cool with getting rid of all religion. But the United States protects that shit, so,
Well, I don't know. See, I'm more of the opinion that people can have their religion if they want to. I definitely hate religion.
But here's the thing. When you have religion, then they indoctrinate their children, and it's very abusive. Indoctrination is a very abusive process. Raising somebody in religion is typically a very abusive process emotionally. Yeah. And religious children are stunted. And that is just, to me, it's a detriment to society. Religion is just a detriment to society.
Well, there's actually a study that recently came out where religiously indoctrinated kids actually can't tell between fantasy and reality.
Yeah, because they're fucking crazy.
As much as secular kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need separation of atheism and state, guys, because clearly atheism ain't working. Clearly, atheism is getting inside the minds of the people and taking the wisdom of God out and instead replacing it with the foolishness of atheism. There is no morality that can be justified through atheism. There's no morality that can be justified through evolution. But I'll tell you...
Okay.
Percentage of Christian people in this country?
Oh, it's a fuck ton.
Like 73%.
It's mostly Christian. We would be a Christian, like as far as like the percentage of our population, it's mostly Christian.
What's the percentage of atheist, non-religious people?
I think it's
7-8%.
No, I think it's in the teens now.
Is it really?
Well, yeah. I think they lump it all into this nuns
like
category.
People who may believe but don't necessarily practice.
Well, yeah, they don't subscribe to any particular religion is how they classify themselves. But the nuns have risen a good bit. But even then, that has atheism rising as well.
But still, nearly 75% of the country, nearly 3/4 of the country is religious. Well, more than that, right?
Right.
So.
Not just that, but we're only just now recently seeing, atheist politicians in office and whatnot. And we're actually seeing people being elected to office, even though they are, atheists.
But what I'm saying is atheists are underrepresented in everything.
They are.
So to blame shit like the Vegas shooting on atheism is just dumb as fuck.
It is dumb. It's dumb as fuck. It is.
It's something, it's historic. It's 2017 AD. It's historic. The life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ.
No, it isn't.
There's nothing historical about the life or the death or the resurrection of Jesus. That is not historical shit. That is mythological storytelling.
Please provide evidence.
There you go.
And sources for that fucked up graph. Please.
Oh, he also said that evolution doesn't provide like morality or anything like that. Evolution's, goal isn't to define morality or anything. I classify myself as a moral relativist. I know that there's morally objective people out there that subscribe to the idea that you can still have objective morality without a God. And it's not that I disagree with that assessment. I can't help but to look across time and see how our morality has changed as a species. And I still see it changing in the future. And so I can't say that there's objective morality at all, because there's not like one rule or whatnot of morality that permeates throughout time. Like, whereas we see it as, a pretty duh thing. Oh yeah, don't go and murder somebody, something like that. Like, that seems like a pretty duh thing, but like in the past, it wasn't seen as nothing at times. Killing people wasn't seen as a big deal.
Yeah, if they were the wrong people.
Well, right. They had to be the wrong kind of person.
His wisdom is perfect. Not one command is in the New Testament for Jesus Christ that commands us to kill people. Now, I know.
Well, there is that one parable that he told about bringing people to him and cutting them down in front of him.
Yeah, plus didn't he talk about coming and being the sword?
He is the sword.
He is the sword. That seems pretty threatening.
Maybe he meant like a different, did you
just like grab your...
Yes.
Oh, okay.
A different sword. A meat sword.
Oh my God. Continue, please.
What the atheists are thinking, the God of the Bible is the greatest mass murderer, serial killer of all time.
He is.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he's killed a fuck ton of people.
Oh, way more than the devil.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, wait a second. Hold on. God is perfect. God is the judge. And God is holy. So he can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, however he wants.
Okay. I have major problems with that. God can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, however he wants. That is the kind of person that you should really question and be like, fuck, no, I am not following you.
How does this guy justify free will then?
Well, I mean, he would say that God gave us free will. He wrote the law on our hearts.
But if God does whatever he wants, whenever he wants, however he wants, whoever he wants, and everything else, then what difference, like, how does free will wouldn't play into that?
Well, I mean, I think free will can still play into that. It's just that God will fuck you up if he chooses to.
That's really fucking dumb.
Well, I mean, there's actually evidence in the Bible for that, too. If you don't remember Moses on the way to Egypt, God, for some reason, got pissed at him or his older son, tried to kill him, but, the wife circumcised their eldest son and threw the foreskin in the face of Moses.
Yeah, that saved his life.
Yeah, and then there was another time when there was a group of guys carrying the covenant. God just, for some reason, strikes down one dude dead for catching the covenant.
You know what God sounds like?
An asshole. Well,
yeah, but he sounds like a moody, emo fucking teenage boy.
Yeah, he does. Seriously, if someone's telling you that God can't be questioned, and then they are also a person that is supposed to be a mouthpiece for God, those two things in conjunction should make you question that person's motives. You should definitely question that person's every fucking move.
I'm sorry, I just... Look at his what's on top of his lip. Does that not look like the Batman symbol? I'm sorry. Do you not see it? Do you see it?
I do see it. He's the preacher we deserve.
You may be thinking of it as an atheist, so clearly he could just do whatever he wants. First of all, who are you to judge the Almighty God?
He's so outraged.
Oh, he is. How dare you judge God?
Fuck you.
I will judge the fuck out of God, just like I judge the fuck out of Voldemort in Harry Potter. And you too, man. I'm going to judge the fuck right out of you, but that's your fault. I wouldn't even know who you were if you didn't make this dumb fucking video and that ridiculous graph. I mean, anybody can judge a character to be moral, immoral, or make sense or don't make sense. You don't have to be some kind of special person in order to judge God. The whole idea of you can't judge God or judge decisions that are supposedly made by God is a very dangerous position. We've seen that played out so many times in history.
Oh, I like this guy. He's from the Edge of Insanity. Says, "Who is he to speak for God?" Good fucking point.
Yeah.
We should ask him that when we get him on the channel.
else.
Who are you to say what God did is right and wrong? Who are little old you to be the judge of the greatest judge of all time? How do you know God doesn't command some people in the Old Testament to do what they did because it actually benefited them in the end? Or
how is going to a town and killing every fucking thing in it, including the small boys and all that, and taking young girls and untouched women for their own sexual pleasure? How was that, like, good at all?
He was feeding bears when the bears ate the kids, so I guess
True.
that was good.
God sent she-bears to fuck up 42 kids.
But they was hungry.
stopped more murder and loss in the end. You don't know that. You're not God. But I will say this, Jeremiah chapter 31.
Don't care about your Jeremiah chapter 31. I'm definitely not God. I'm glad I'm not God. You know, I think it's ridiculous to be like, you have to be God in order to judge God. That just sounds like a stupid fucking argument.
But he's also judging God's character in his favor. But like is he not?
Hashtag Bear Lives Matter.
God Almighty says he will give his people a new covenant, and that covenant is through Jesus Christ. So we look at the New Testament because it's not God who changed. He did not change his rules because he changed. He changed because he wants man to change.
Wait, God changed so that man would change. Is that what I'm hearing? So God did in fact change.
Well, yeah, because God would have had to change, because here's the deal. Like in the Old Testament, God is just God, right? In the New Testament, God is the Holy Trinity. But God wasn't always the Holy Trinity, right?
Well, I don't know. He came in threes before with Abraham.
Yeah, but not with a son. Not like...
The Bible starts out saying, talking in the third, like in multiple persons.
That's because whoever wrote that shit had multiple personalities.
Well, no, they copied from the Mesopotamians who had...
Multiple personalities?
No, multiple gods.
Oh, well, I'm just saying I'm allowed to clinically diagnose these people with multiple personality disorder because he's allowed to make that graph with no fucking sources.
That's why he gave us Jesus to give us new laws. And not one time in the New Testament will you find Jesus Christ actually commanding us to kill. Not one verse. In fact, Jesus says, he who lives by the sword dies by the sword.
But he came as the sword.
Yes, he was the sword.
Whoever lives by the sword dies by the sword. I am the sword, though. Hashtag Jesus dick.
So the wisdom of Jesus, if we follow it as a society, as you can see, obeying God perfectly, 0 deaths. Interesting. So
Wait, I think this guy's PewDiePie at this point. Obey God, 0 deaths!
It's also...
0 deaths! What is this, like a perfect run of goddamn Dark Souls?
I don't know, but that's also not how to read that graph.
why don't we separate America from atheism and state? Separate America from insanity of state, and instead put back the wisdom of God in the state. Put back the wisdom of God into the minds of our children.
I'm sure your kids have God in their mind, and that is really depressing to me.
It is. But also, as we've shown with our multiple graphs here, people with God in mind aren't necessarily peaceful people. It actually shows that, there are more murders, more violence that goes on if you have a religion in mind.
Well, that's because religion causes divisiveness in society.
It really does.
It does.
Into the minds of the people so that lives can prosper with perfect love, peace, and joy under the perfect teachings of God Almighty. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
He surely as fuck hasn't read the Bible if he thinks that God's teachings are perfect teachings.
They're pretty fucked up teachings. But I love how here at the end, when he says, God bless you, God bless America, it's like, fuck you, and fuck you again. Like, that's what it sounds like. It's like, I know you're an atheist, so God bless you. Well, I mean, that's it. And you can tell by the smirk on his face, he feels accomplished by his shit show right there. I mean, oh my God. This is in no way math. This is drawing this is drawing pictures and then words on top of that. I really had nothing to say when he started just proselytizing at the end, because, at some point you just got to be like, okay, that's wrong. You're not right about that. I don't know what else to say that haven't already said, and concerning all of that. So I don't see any benefit in even treating his whole proselytization as an argument, because it's not. From the edge of insanity. So it's not okay for Hitler to kill people, but it's okay for God to kill anyone and everyone. That's the special pleading argument that I was talking about before. It's special pleading for you to say that God is a special case in that he can't be judged. He can do whatever he wants. He can kill whoever he wants, and it's okay for him to do it. The problem with that, where that gets dangerous, is that preachers that are here on earth are supposed to be mouthpieces for God, are supposed to tell you what God is basically thinking and what he teaches and all this other stuff. So if you have this thing that can't be questioned and whatever he does is what he does and he's good for it, then where's the line that separates that God from his mouthpieces here on earth, the preachers and whatnot? There's nothing. The preachers could be telling you, God says to suck this dick, bitch. And, who are you to question him? Because he's a mouthpiece for the Lord.
Well, you're not. The whole point is you're not supposed to question or think critically. There are no, ways of logic or critical thinking skills in these people at all.
Okay, well, I think I'm going to head on out, guys. I really appreciate everybody joining me. I loved all your comments.
Do we have a podcast dropping tomorrow?
We do have a podcast. I got to get it ready, but we do have a podcast dropping with a new intro.
Daily Bible podcast coming tomorrow.
Yes. All right, heathens. We will see you guys later.
No, don't forget to stand up and use your voice.
Bye, heathens.
I have you now.